brilliant idea to film outside, and then all this happened. So I got this doll from someone who contacted me off eBay, and since it came off of eBay, I have to put it on eBay to sell it. I don't want to show the doll's a little. She's been displayed. She's a little dirty, and her hair is kind of a hot mess. I am going to try washing it and conditioning it. I don't know if you can see how matted. It's really matted back here. So I'm hoping I'll be able to fix that for her. She's got some wonky legs, but she also has a very broken foot. So what I'm going to try is I have some paper clay and back. So what I did was I built the shoe up just a little bit larger because it'll be about 10 to 20% smaller when all the moisture's out of it, and then I can also sand on it. And this is basically just my base for the shoe, and then I will add more if needed, and I'll be able to sculpt it some. You can sand on it. It's not the easiest stuff to work on. This is a pretty doll. She's got really pretty face. I've worked with this face before, and I know I could do some cool things with it. It's nice nose sculpt, mouth sculpt, and it tends to make a good doll, so I like it. Anyway, I do want to point out something kind of funny. Her boobies were like pom-poms. One was here and one was here. So yeah, we're gonna make that a whole new thing. So on this dress, I'm going to wash it. I have some warm water with Dawn in it. And I just want to point out a couple of things with this dress. So I'm washing it because it has been out. It's got some oils and things on it. It's been played with, so that helps to get rid of any oils so it'll take the dye better. And this was glued on, so it just popped right off. That is another thing. Big trucks going by. Another thing is on this trim, it's just glued on, so it's going to come off. And wherever there's glue right now, it's going to show. But I do want to go ahead and take this off. I want to dye it with the other stuff, so I hate all this glue. But it's going to be a mess when I try to do it and to get all the glue off. Because when it dyes, it's going to be all streaked up. And what I'll probably have to do, we'll put it back, number one, but sew it, or stitch it down. Look, it's just popping right off. That side came off so well, I may not have any residue. I don't know if the warm water will help get the residue off, but we're going to find out. And now if you can see right here, there's some holes. I can see it because there's sun shining through. There's a few holes in them where the darts were. Anyway, it's a really cute dress. I'm going to totally remake it. Oh my gosh. Well, the good news is remaking it's going to be easy peasy because it's glued together. And it's just, look, it's just falling apart. Oh, okay, so that'll work. I can make that work. So my goal with this dress is to make it into that side does not want to come off. Oh, there it goes. Is to make it the kind of walking dresses that they have with the little bustle in back in the Victorian style. Kind of a steampunk look, but without all the weird stuff. But anyway, so that just popped right off because it was just hot glued on. So how much of this that's hot glued, the bow's gonna come off. Yeah, so see that popped right off. Things, so that's down to just which stitch. So I'm gonna let it soak in my red bowl full of warm water and Dawn for a while and let that kind of do its thing. I'm going to wash the lace and everything. And here's the little hat. And I'm going to repurpose this hat and add using some of the fabrics in the hat because I don't think I have anything like this. I know in my fabric scraps I don't, so I'll just use a different fabric if I have to add anything. But I wanted to keep as much of her original fabric in her dress. This, I believe, was the person's doll when they were young, and they wanted to keep it, and they just wanted to do something fun with it like this, and that's why they sent it to me versus just buying one of my dolls. So they're trusting me to do the right thing. So I'm gonna let that soak. I got it all sudsed up now. I'm gonna let it soak for a while and go dry my hands off and move on. She's sitting in the sun drying right now, and I guess I should take her wig off and wash her wig and see how that I would use shampoo for. And I'm not gonna show you how to do that because my hands are gonna be busy washing the wig. So I washed the wig and conditioned it, and I don't know if you can tell in this, my neighbors are cutting the grass because that's how my day's going. Anyway, brilliant idea to film outside, and then all this happened. So it's very matted. I thought that just doing the tops would be the best, and try to do something with it. It's also got glue where it had something in its hair, like a hat or something. But even the back, see, that is matted up right there. And I haven't touched that. That's how it was. And I'm looking at the bottom, and I'd like to say it's better, but it's really not. It's pretty bad. And it's just so much, I don't even know what this is. This has some other matter, stuff is in it. And dust or lint, and I'm sorry, fuzz that's not working for me. Anyway, I know you're like, it's a shame, that's a lot of hair, but it's a lot of messed up hair. So I can't really do anything with that. And I'll have to figure this one out. Where I am now, other than listening to my neighbor mow their yard, is I have washed all the fabric, all the dress. I've also pulled the hook and loop tape off so it won't damage anymore. And I was pretty successful in getting all the glue, the hot glue, off of the dress. And I have some ideas for how I'm going to do this dress that are different than how it looks now. So I'm going to dye it. They'll with the Ziploc bag method, and I don't feel like showing you all that, so just gonna show you the after. Pretty much as predicted, this did not take dye. It is maybe a light gray. That's about the best I got. So this took I wish it had done this nice. Look how pretty and dark that came out. This was a little bit of a seafoam green, and now it's one kind of seeing the string what color it was. So that's how much it took. So now it's a gray. And then this took well. So the actually both took better than this trim around the neck. This took nicely. That color, that particular lace. And I don't know why, because it's like, what color was that before? It was that color. Anyway, it's mostly grays, really light silver, if anything. Not quite the color I wanted. So I'm gonna, I had told her I didn't think it was gonna take, but anyway. Well, shoot her a message, let her know. All right, so something's got a little out of sorts over here at my work area. I sat down before I got all my stuff together. Okay, so I started working on her hands today. I watch a lot of artists who are doing this really fast and how they'll erase something and go back and do it. I'm like, oh, I liked it that way. I totally get it now. All right, so I start out by just drawing the hand. So I take my brush. This is just an old brush that I have that's it's coarse on the end and old and stiff. So it works really well and I just brush it. I'm going to kind of in between the fingers, lightly, just kind of go over it. And this just smooths out my charcoal. So, because what I want my dolls to look like are more like a, charcoal that is just drawn on a 3D object. I want it to look like a little charcoal drawing. I can't get a lot of perfection on these things. I see I got a knuckle. So if you want like a simple way to do this, I put like 2 lines for this knuckle, and then 3 lines for that knuckle. So if you want if you're doing a lot of these dolls and you're like hands, that's just a good formula. And then I always put shading in the hand, and that little bit of shading right there that represents the palm of the hand. You see, I just keep it really loose. I don't get down worried about the detail being perfect. I think that's great, but I think I'd go nuts if I did that all the time, because once you get into that, you get really OCD, and the more perfect you try to make it, the crazier it makes you. I just don't want these to make me crazy. I just want them to be fun. Originally, I was going to try to do this straight down on the table, but I couldn't because I put them in my lap. They kind of matchy. Let me see, get them together. So let me take a second to talk about her boots. So how I did her boots, I have added lace to her, just cut up little pieces of lace to make her these really cute boots. Painted it all black, and then I came back and I just dry brushed over. The hard part here is trying to keep enough light so I can see what I'm doing and not totally wash her out because she's white. So what I did first is I come in and I draw. This is with the same soft pastel that I used before. So I just draw it out. And then I come back with my brush and I do my shading. I do it this way because I want the lines on mine. That's my look. A lot of people have their own look in doing these dolls. That's what I decided would be mine. Anyway, she has paint on her eyes. I'll scratch that off later. And I just leave it. I always leave a little bit of paint on the eyes so that it won't get any worse. And then I can just get it off. And when it comes to getting down inside the eye, that's why I usually have to go to my stash of black. Kind of smooch it in there. And this is like if you've worked with pastels on the dolls and using the Mr. Super Clear stuff, you know, you can build this up. It's easier to build it up slowly versus just, yeah, trying to get rid of it. This is my brush, same brush I always use. I will wear these brushes out and find another one and wear it out. The thing I loved about this doll, when she sent it to me, I didn't see it in the picture she sent me. But when it arrived, I was like, yes, it's got a nice décolletage you know, just a chest plate that a lot of dolls don't have. And it was covered up by her dress. And I was like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. This doll is going to be wide open when I get her. If I was using colors on this, of course, I would use different colors to achieve all this. I've learned so many cool things watching other artists. Little things I like to do is go ahead and brush across the bridge of the nose. Now, as far as this mouth goes, after I put some sealer on her, I can come back with paint. And one trick I like to do, come back in with after my sealer, I can do some really nice touch-ups. I recommend, you know, learning how to do these amazing collarbones and stuff. You can see how that's really popping out now. So creepy. And here she is with her eyes cleaned off, got the paint off of it. And here I'm designing the dress on a doll that's a little bit smaller, so I'm just kind of draping the dress on her and coming up with some ideas. So I took a couple of pictures to send a friend of mine on how it was going, and of course I sent it to the person that was getting her. And I had to sign the doll before I actually dressed her because I sewed the clothes on her. Here I added 2 more layers of lace in order to make the dress longer because it was actually a little short anyway, and I just felt like it needed, you know, to be on the ground and full length. And here's where I painted it in my kitchen, and I touched up some of the other paint on the dress as well. I enjoy doing this a lot. It was quite a challenge sometimes, but it was just the brain was constantly coming up with solutions. And one thing I had done is sewed her dress together and it wasn't hanging right, so I had to take it all apart. So yeah, little challenges like that. But I really loved working with her. And her before and afters. Her wig was so matted and it's amazing. I was able to get it this nice. Trick to doing that is to cut the curls like up here and just cut that mat right out and just pull out, you know, just keep it together the best you can. But it is a big improvement over the original hair. So that's her side. I gave her, you know, the little bustle. So here's what's really cool about her. I used all the stuff except for one thing of her original dress, and it's because I lost it. But I did manage to salvage everything else. And I have her little original silk flowers back here, her bow. I did the back of her neck. I hate pulling on this hair because it does get caught on its own lace. But there's her backbone, her little creepy backbone. Her original dress is now on backwards. And I think it turned out really cool. I mean, when I saw it, first thing I said, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this dress. And in doing that, this was her back where the Velcro was. And I just tucked in the corners and I stitched it down. Now, it does want to roll, so you do have to kind of mess with it. This comes off and shows up her little décolletage in here. It's kind of coming untucked. So when it is off, she is a plunging neckline. Her little corset is made from her hat. I'll brighten that up some. Anyway, that's and some little hooks. I was able to give her a choker because it fit this character to have a choker with a spider. So that was fun. Under her skirt, I have her amazing shoes. And this is antique lace. I have a wonderful lace collection, and so that I pulled from that. Her dress, you can see now I had this all stitched down, so I had to leave it open. I had to just tack it to the tool, and I'm really glad I added the tool. It made a big difference. But when I tried stitching this down, no, it pulled. It did not want to hang right. It didn't want to look like a separate piece, and which was kind of my goal. And I did have to tack it right here because it was just coming out too much. But now I just love the shape of her dress. It really came together the way I wanted it to. Do a couple options with this. It kind of sticks out. So we'll get the bow out of the way. There you go. Kind of fluff that up. So I gave her the figure that I wanted her to have, and I was really happy with that. But her little bitty hands. I put just as much work under here because after I did her bustle, I did cover it. She had an extra piece of this fabric, and I covered it to make it look really nice because when you do kind of start peeking in there, you can see the pink of the original hat. Now it's the gray. Anyway, this is Lily, and she was amazing to make. And I really enjoyed her, and she's going to be going off to her new home.